welcome to the November 25th, 2025 meeting of the District Needs and Budget Committee. I'm Sage Mason, the chair of the District Needs and Budget Committee. This meeting is called to order at 6:09 p.m. Tonight we are joined by Khalid Nixon, who is subbing in for Angel Muscane as the staff liaison to our committee. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. Nobody may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear, and you shall find the raise hand function there. If you have technical difficulty, click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. We will now, members of the public, if you have a question or a comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. We will now take attendance by roll call.
For members who are on this committee, through your needed for quorum, Jessica Elliott, absent. David Giordano, not here this time, absent. Sage Mason, present. And Janelle Satija. Don't have quorum yet, Chair.
Okay, so we will take a 10 to 15 minute recess and
then we'll determine from there. If we make quorum within that time, we'll resume operations. If not, then we'll have to adjourn. Cool. Okay. All right.
We are back from our recess. Maybe let's do the roll call again.
Yes, absolutely. Jessica Elliott is still absent. David Giordano.
Present.
Thank you. Sage Mason.
Present.
Janelle Satija.
Present.
You have quorum, Chair.
Great. So tonight's agenda was distributed ahead of time. Any objections to the agenda? No? Cool. The agenda is adopted for tonight. I believe last month's minutes were distributed ahead of time as well. Any objection to those minutes? Seeing no objections, we'll move on. Yeah, I wasn't reading this. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the last committee meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the website. Announcements, anybody have announcements? No. David, any announcements? Okay. I'll say, and we'll get into this in a second, I went to all of the committees that accept parks, which have budget requests, and submit budget requests in our statement of district needs. There was a lot of positive feedback, a lot of questions about the budget process in general, and you can look at the recordings of each of those committee meetings to see what those presentations look like. The only presentation where the budget tool itself had like technical issues was at land use, but I think that was important to sort of figure out some bugs that I hadn't been aware of before. And it was just that a Dem had edited the thing without talking to me first. But then I learned that I need to make it so that people can't just edit the thing. So
Right.
it was good. Okay, moving on in the agenda, presentations and discussion. Review of the final fiscal year 27 Statement of District Needs submission. Do you have that available?
I'm sorry. Final fiscal 27 statement submission. If I have that available, like
I
don't think so. Let me ask this thing right now.
Adopted. Angel sent this to me. I can put it on the screen.
Yes.
Joining. Can I become a panel? And this is basically what the final version looked like. Let me find it in here. Angel. Final version is attached. Nice. So this is, they changed the font a little bit. There's like a really specific format that this needs to be submitted in, where you separate everything into like 500 word blocks. So last time we talked about this, I still had to go back and fix some of the citations. I didn't put it in like a formal citation format because I don't think the city cares. I don't think we can actually like
ADA form.
Yeah, have sites, but I wanted a record of like where this information came from. If I was going like harder, I would have created like permalinks. But yeah,
I think this is good.
Yeah, I think it's sufficient, and there's always room for improvement. But I updated everything that wasn't like the most recent stats available. And I made sure we were using the same stats throughout. I got permission from all the chairs to do that.
Where are you finding all the stats?
Most of so a combination of sources. CCC I use for the most of the things related to children. And I found that they had recently.
Getting a one?
Yeah. What does CCC stand for again? It's in here. Citizens Committee for Children.
Yeah. I found that to always be the easiest laid out. I used to love the book. Now you can get it online. But it was like a Bible. It would have each like district, each community district and demographics. Like a 2-page kind of thing that summarized everything. So when you have to write grants quick, it's really easy to grab that. They do it every 5 years. The city does it every 10 years.
Yeah, some things are every 5 years, but some things they track every year. So there was a lot of useful data, and it's good just to know like where some of these resources are.
That's what I told them to do.
And there are links in this, and I can share this document with you guys so you have this version, though it should also be on the website very soon.
Yes, and also in the shared board drive or number drive.
I'm not sure if it's in the shared on the Google Drive. If it is, great.
It should be, so the members can access it, right? We're going into fiscal year 27. Ideally, it should be in here. Ideally.
Okay, I can add it if it's not there already.
Yeah. Definitely do it. Working draft, because I just see working drafts, budget requests.
Yeah, I don't think it's in there.
Okay. Then this final document that you have, add it in here.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I also used ACS data. That is like straight from the census. I had trouble accessing census records because this was during the shutdown. So I couldn't use like direct data on the census.gov website. An error popped up that was like, due to the shutdown, like, this website isn't working. But I was able to get information elsewhere. The Furman Center I use for certain things because, like, for example, New York City threshold for poverty is like more accurate. So it'll say that like it'll be more helpful in terms of like X percentage of people are living in poverty in New York, even though if you use the federal guidelines from the census, that number would be lower just because federally the threshold for poverty is lower than like what you need to survive in New York City. Yeah. And then a bunch of kind of local stuff. The Trevor Project, that was helpful. Asher linked that data for me. More Furman Center, CCC.
It'd be nice to see if this would have a bigger impact. happen necessarily.
If what?
Will this happen? Will somebody who reads this?
We'll see. I think when we do our testimony and speaking at public hearings, we can point to this and be like, this was in our statement of district needs. And then maybe, I think this has to sort of be accompanied with some advocacy. But
That's the part we've been lacking.
Yeah, I think this just seems more like serious than maybe in years past because everything is consistent throughout. Whereas before you could like pick and choose parts, and if you piecemeal and if you compared them, you'd be like, this contradicts this other thing. I think somebody just needed to like read the whole thing through and kind of know what had already been said, which hadn't really happened before. Yeah, lots of good data, and I like learned a lot in the process of putting this together. That was really cool. Yeah, so this is available, and then I think we go down and you have all of the budget requests after this.
I mean, you can also access our district needs statement and budget requests from the Department of City Planning's website on the community planning page. You scroll down for Manhattan Community Board 11 and all community boards in general, and you can review.
Is that this year's or is this last year's?
This is for fiscal year 26, but I can't find 27.
Okay,
I'm looking for that right now. I can't find.
I know sometimes it's hard to find things.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
Maybe it's not been uploaded yet.
Well, the idea is that with the Google Drive for the members, just to simply copy over for the new fiscal year and then just adjust the wording and the data as needed, right, for any new resources that you get. So I see here a lot of working drafts for public input. That's just a survey. Right.
Yeah, I think it's. I'll figure it out.
We'll take a look and then try to.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect the city to have that published yet.
Okay.
Just because it takes a while.
I do have I see the PDF version. I was looking for the Word version, but I can't find that. But I do have the PDF version here. Okay. Adopted October 2025. 2025.
Okay. You guys have any questions about what we submitted?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Good job, Ben.
all of your help. I'm glad we got it. Okay, now we'll talk about the feedback on the preliminary, or rather the budget tracker tool. I'll keep sharing my screen.
Oh, you're gonna keep. Okay.
You know, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, budget request worksheet. So I kind of wrote out what various people had said throughout my my outreach, and some of the ideas are, I think, really useful, really good. Others, I'm not sure, and I kind of want your feedback on. David, you mentioned cross-committee collaboration. I think it's important because there are some instances where multiple committees, it would make sense for them to opine on the same budget request. I don't want to make the tool itself too difficult, or for committees to stall by saying oh, we sent it to this other committee, now it's off of our plate.
See, I don't think of it that way. I think of it like where we had the issue with housing and human services, where they both took kind of different positions on a project in the community, right? And again, they're taking it from the perspective of how their community or what the goals or mission is within that community. And my thought is that we should have every stakeholder that's involved at least having input into it, because sometimes we see things from a different perspective. And I think, like Isaac used an example, how when he first joined the committee, he had one understanding of
moratorium.
Yeah, and then had another as it became working in the community and working with things and finding out different issues, right? So if we only have one set of eyes looking at something, we're only gonna have one set of views. First of all, we can look at it in different ways. Even in the housing thing, you know, I have a human service background with 15 years in mental health issues in my youth. So yeah, I'm supportive of supportive housing, but there are different levels of it. There's some that are, you know, money makers in the community and, you know, do not do the best care for our people that need. And there are some that really are good. And just even the way the two presented in their plans to come to this community were totally different. Where I could support one and maybe not support the other, right? But the committee or the board may take a whole different position where maybe health is looking at how we do support that. And that's why we should have everybody in. So, you know, like even the new school coming in when they had the project on 96, that involves so many of the committees on the board that they came to almost every committee, right? Because everybody has a different stake from the committee's perspective. Now the community has, it can be fragmented if we do not have everybody involved.
Okay. Yeah, so I have two ideas about how maybe to like facilitate that using this. One would be having like a button.
So let me say this before you say that, My concern is less with this being an obstacle to that happening than the committees actually coming together and sitting together. Because, you know, we've had like, and then for instance, we have the task force for the training, right? That involved every committee being part of it because it affects every committee in a different way, right? So maybe the process is not so much we get caught up in how we document it, but that both committees have access, or, you know, when we have them come present, do we have them come separate to each committee, or do we have them come to one meeting and present on both? You know, so there's like in committee meetings, right? We only have about a limited time anyway that we can spend. So are we going to have this person come twice? And I'm only going to deal with my issues. You're only going to deal with your issues, but then I never heard anything of yours that may impact my decision making from another committee. So I'm less caught up with that, but how we do that as a process, which we're not always done the best of the job.
So I was just gonna say, but I think using a tool like that will help us with process, because it means that if we define how we're gonna get it to different committees, they will know that there's something behind it, right? And so I don't know what we end up deciding, but say, for example, something comes to human services, Isaac looks at it and says, actually, this should go to housing as well. And there's a way to facilitate that rather than somebody just remembering, like, oh, it came through the tool. I need to remember to tell.
No, I think,
so I think
I agree with you. I think that would be a good use of this to help facilitate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't get to the point. So, you know, so let's.
You mean the collaborative part?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, as staff on the administrative end, if there are cross-intersectional issues, we try to notify the other committee members, like, hey, so Youth and Education Committee, the Public Safety and Transportation Committees, they're gonna review safe routes to schools, like, you know, the DEC project, to try to.
That's like when you'll send us an email.
Yes, so like, you guys should be interested in attending this meeting and, you know, working that in your own committee efforts and try to find some collaborative opportunities, at least at the bare minimum. That's what we try to do, and then work from there.
Yeah, so my sort of two approaches to that would be one, either putting like an instruction in an email that says like, because it will automatically go to a specific committee based off of what the request is. That's like, hey, if you, committee chair who gets the email automatically, think that this should go to another committee, like forward it to them. That's one approach, and make like putting that in the text of the email. Though there's an issue, like maybe they're not gonna read the email.
Which we know is it.
Yeah, or two, like setting up a process where there's like a button here. So like this pending request is supposed to go to Parks. Like if there's a way for when Parks is reviewing this, if they think this should actually go to, I don't know, HPD, to like click this button that says agent, or rather this committee button, and just click like HPD, or like have another tab here that says like send to another committee, and then they will say like housing or something, or whoever. And
So what happens like if you have a parks, but then it involves a school, a park that's associated with a school, but it's a parks department school, and a park.
I think recreational spaces typically are parks. At least when we get the presentations, it's not DOE, it's NYC Parks. We're renovating.
But there are some parks that are strictly DOE parks
and not NYC Parks and Recreation, right? So at that moment, I guess, it's a crossing that bridge when we get there, so we can easily determine that. But as in terms of corresponding agency, like I typically just look at the presentation and who's talking to us, and I just okay, well, this is an NYC Parks initiative, like the Eugene McCabe or any of the recent ones that we just reviewed.
I'm not on parks anymore.
Oh, sorry, David. Sorry.
Yeah.
But no, because
I used to be on parks for years.
It was a playground at a school,
Right.
and but Parks brought that to our attention. Steve Simon, and we had no interaction with anyone from DOE regarding the renovation of those playgrounds.
Well, this is where it's funny. Some of those playgrounds, when they're attached to school, are closed to the public during the school time.
Right.
Where some are not.
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah. So I think. I mean, what do you think? Do you think?
I think having it in here to say pass along, like I don't know if you can make it send an email, but like just have committee 1, committee 2.
Or overlapping.
Yeah.
Something that.
Yeah, I think having it here is better. It's a good way of making sure that people actually follow it on as needed.
Okay. James Kemp asked about data. Data automatically comes through Google Forms, which is useful, but I think it'll take a while for us to have enough data for it to be useful. Like people are going to have to get used to using this, and there are other things that will contribute to it being adopted, like edits to the website that make the website like more usable and everybody kind of buying into like telling people about this. So we'll see. This time,
like just a thought. Let's say there's something that comes through from somebody in the public, right? And it's highlighted for parks. Would the chair from parks get like a notification that there was a new thing?
Yes.
As opposed to I gotta go look at the document and see if there's
Yes, they automatically get an email. And the email looks like this currently, but I need to, I'm gonna do some changes.
Does it come with a link?
Yes, it comes with a link. Was that your idea? Or somebody suggested that?
It wasn't mine.
Is that because they have what? If there's no link, I don't know.
No, that's good. So then I gotta go check. I gotta see would it show up in here what it is, or do you have to go check?
Oh, it's because I'm searching Angel. What do you mean? Would it show up in here? What it is?
Like I get this notification that it would highlight what was said as the issue in the letter, or you would have to.
Yeah. So this is exactly what the email looks like, and it automatically goes to the correct committee chair. A new proposed budget request has been submitted. Your committee should review the proposed request at its next meeting and vote on whether to incorporate the request into its budget request, and then there's a link to
look at it.
Yeah, and then that automatically brings you to pending request where somebody can just click accept. I think it's a good idea to add a button here that's like send to another committee. And I'm also going to edit the text of this email so that it tells people like wait a month and vote on it the following month, just to make it clearer, because most committees don't vote on something the month that they hear about it.
Yeah.
Should also put in there like the month that it was put in to the in the body of the email, date of request or something, like November 2025, so they know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I think because they get the email as soon as it comes in, like The date of this request is November 19th.
So when you get the
But like,
email,
if
it
you-
is the date.
Yeah, but then like, if you AI this, right, in your own inbox, and you say, okay, find all the emails that come, and you have on the bottom of the email everything that came from November 2025, like it's like a set way that it looks, it's easier to sort.
Y'all too tech.
I mean, my inbox is like 10,000 unread emails right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's gonna be a way to like file cabinet, but otherwise I wouldn't read anything.
Children's Aid has, you've reached your capacity, delete, oh, you won't get it anymore.
We need to invest in more storage space.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I know, I've been fighting it for years.
Some other interesting feedback we got. Russell had I think, useful idea of currently on the form, and I'll just pull it up. There's no question about if somebody is from an organization rather than individuals. And
I think that's good.
yeah, so I'm going to add something for organizations here. And then Russell suggested that if it's an organization, so that we can avoid being corrupted by like special interests, ask them for some like additional information, like where are you coming from? Tell us about your organization, like how many people are involved with you? Do you have any support? Which I think is a good idea. But I don't think that should be necessary for like an individual who submits because
No, so it's like, if you hit yes to this, then you answer.
yeah, it's a conditional. And Jose had a good idea of asking people to explain their requests earlier because, and I think this is actually a really important one, because a lot of people don't know like what to click here. And in some categories, like this is eco-dev, I think. Eco-dev has the most potential request categories because it's so broad. Maybe human services as well. That like this is kind of intimidating and somebody might just feel like I'm not gonna go through this.
People will look at that line.
Yeah. And you're not gonna read you're just probably gonna pick the one, if any, that like stands out to you at the beginning. So instead we're gonna move explanation to the top so that someone can just type out what they want.
So if I come on here, I would go specifically to that, like this is eco, that I'm thinking it's for parks, so I would just go to parks. I wouldn't have to sift through all of these other questions.
But even for parks, you have to.
Yeah,
No, I mean, all right, like one, I'm going to one, there's a lot of categories in one. But I don't have to go through all 10 committees and look through all 10 committees, because then I'm not doing this.
That was only for one committee.
Okay.
You pick the committee on the first page and then it takes you to that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Parks, there's still a lot of options.
People, I'm telling you, nowadays people, they do not read memos, families, pass a few lines, they're not bothered with it.
Which is why they've simplified the survey. DCP has simplified the survey because it's extensive, and also which is why the committees exist. So why you guys are supposed to be hearing requests from your community stakeholders, your residents, and then filtering that to what DCP has for their submission process. So you guys would say, oh, well, you're having a number of schools come to us and explain that their HVAC and electrical systems are out of date. Let's put in some budget requests for school facility improvement. We have these facilities in our district that need, immediate repairs. We'd like $1 million allocated for that kind of thing. So that's the general idea. So I'm assuming once you receive these requests, you guys are going to you're sending it to the chairs. They're going to filter it and then turn it into something that's actually feasible to submit to DCP. Yeah. So then hopefully they acknowledge it. That's a different question.
When you use that example, it's always the one that shudders me, because when, like Angel had said, we had one young lady that came from DOE and said, oh no, you can't go there, you gotta go here. Oh no, you gotta, and this is the process. Like, even don't ask for too much, because then you get nothing. If you don't ask for it, be more specific, and then you don't get it for the others.
Right.
It's like one of them game kind of things.
Right.
And that's where I think we really need to do more of the advocacy on the testimony part going in, because It's
Yes.
like one of those things, you know. They're not gonna supply, like this whole district needs upgrades in the electrical to run computers, to run the air conditioners, right? And I know that even more now being in the DOE building. When I moved in there, like I had to get electric.
Stuff.
It cost me $14,000 to run electric. So what we needed to run our equipment that we brought in there, right? But now I'm just one program coming in and had 2 offices. This is, like you're talking about entire school.
Yes.
And the kids have problems right now, even with over computers and the air conditions in some rooms, you can't run them both.
Right.
Because you knock them out.
And then you guys also should need to revamp the budget consultation meetings with your city agencies. That's what you guys definitely need to revamp. Since I've been here for the 2 years, I've not seen that happen. So that's very important. So to ask the actual agency rep who can respond to, the capital initiatives for the agency, why can't this be funded? How can we better tailor our requests so that we can get a response for something committed to in the future? So that needs to happen. That has not happened since I've been here.
Yeah.
So
No, that'll happen this year.
You know what's funny? We used to do them regularly. Then COVID hit. And then we were doing them on live COVID, where you weren't having just.
Is she upstairs?
Yeah, but she can't get in the door. Can you give me your keys? She doesn't want to track over here. Right, I'll meet you there.
So when COVID hit,
In my apartment.
they would be on the meetings and they would have 5, 6 people from their offices where they would only send one out when we had the meetings live. Then as we came out of COVID, they stopped. Just, you've been here 2 years, it's probably been a little longer that those meetings have stopped. Because I used to be here when I was the chair with USD, with the OE, there would be regular meetings.
Right.
I think, like you said, we need to revamp it, and probably it should be a combination of the chairs and the members of this committee that are involved in that.
Oh, right. Yes, absolutely.
Before it was really just the chairs of the committees.
Yes.
And maybe a vice chair as opposed to the district meetings committee being president.
Well, you guys should definitely.
And not that you have to be at every stage, that's how we split up, or the 2 committees I'm else on, those are the 2 I would represent, do the advocacy and that. We start looking. So we filled those.
But if you want more hands-on, committee members for district needs, you guys should be with the committee, just as David said, and actually help with, getting some more solidified answers and making your submission more robust, in my opinion.
Okay. Also, when you do the testimony, you submit a written testimony.
Yes, and we also have a preliminary statement to the proposed budget in January. That's like our next to do. And we're having a public hearing on that as well. So there's a lot that has to happen in addition to, and it's on the radar and on the agenda tonight.
Can I just make a suggestion here?
Please.
So to Dave's point, people, if they don't want to read through this whole thing, or they don't even know where it fits, maybe you should add like a catch-all button that they can.
Yes, so. So I'm gonna make this part optional.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna move the explanation part to the top, so somebody can just type in what they want. There are ways to try and get the code to infer what category it goes into, and we can try that. And then there's also categories that are just other, and we can even add an instruction here that's if you're not sure, just click other.
Or pick the closest that you think or something.
Yeah, or if you don't feel like doing it, just click other and we'll figure it out for you.
Right, that would be part of the committee, because again, somebody could check off something, and when we really look at it, our knowledge would say this is really under this box as opposed to the other.
I just have to figure out something technically, which is
Did really good work.
thank you. It's still a work in progress. It's going to get even better.
I have another suggestion. You should try to reach out to other community boards and ask about their successful budget requests and how that came along. And also along with going with the budget consultations, ask community board, other community boards, what successful budget requests have they experienced and how you guys can replicate that. If you saw, you guys of course saw the.
Do we know any of them that is successful? Maybe Angel does.
Angel
the
probably
fellow
Angel
board
might know.
meetings he
Yes, he could probably determine from some other board
which ones we possibly reach out to.
Right, because looking at our budget requests responses for this year was it was ridiculous.
Weird.
Abhorrent. Essentially,
Nothing.
yeah, ask your elected official. We can't. This is not a feasible
No, the ones
request.
with youth, I've never seen them.
That was ridiculous. So, you're thinking to yourself, okay, these are important, but what can make this more successful? How can we get better responses?
And what shifted that they've taken that position? Because some of the things are repeated, right? So
Yes.
we're now getting a different response than we got before.
It might just be people.
Who the person is.
Yeah.
Actual person in there, right? It says ask the agency for,
Right.
and that.
But we're asking you, because you're the.
You're in charge of the budget, right? Yeah, and like I said, yes, that comes with your district consultations when that comes up for this forthcoming fiscal year. But yeah, I would try to see if maybe Manhattan Community Board 6 had a very successful budget request where they got like a really decent response or community response on their first ask. That'd be something to look into, see if that's feasible.
Yeah, I would say in some ways our ferry request was successful.
That took a long time, and that was years of that.
That seems lucky.
Years before I came.
That was lucky?
Yeah.
That was lucky.
Yeah.
Somebody, again, like I think you said, sometimes it's who's in that position. And I support this kind of thing, so I'm gonna, because it's been years, and even that thing with Richard Toussaint, how it's now shifted, where they were gonna name two, the path and
The park itself.
the park. Now it's shifted, people don't remember, and that's,
Well, Richard Toussaint was a board member who came up with the idea for the Harlem Greenway Park. And they were,
I met him, I was first on the board with him.
passed
in the
away.
past. So there's been a long advocacy of the name, and it was going in that direction. I don't remember who came last and said, no, just one, not both. Or to wait this long, you might lose out, and they wanted to do it also on time. Again, it's who you know and how you get things passed.
Yeah, I think we should just refer to it as that, and
Keep moving.
it'll catch on.
I think to make it content.
Yes.
I get it.
I read there's a book that did that. It's called The Sellout by.
To sell out?
Okay. So that was the feedback we got. Last thing on the agenda is just planning sort of what we're gonna do next couple of months. I don't think we need to meet in December because that wouldn't happen until the end of the month, and we'll probably be doing holiday stuff. But in January is when the mayor's preliminary budget will come back. We will have to read that, review it, prepare a response to it. So the review of it will happen in January. I forget when in January it comes.
You might expect it like late January. You might expect by the end of late January, but because we now have the new mayor-elect, it might. I don't know how long it will take his
New
team.
administration coming in.
Right, because right now
They
we're
want to review before.
correct. Right, they just discussed this earlier today. Adams is for sure already
Checked
preparing
out.
their own. He's checked out for sure, but they may have already have a budget template that they might have in there, right? And Mamdani's team may decide to go through it and produce something completely different. So I wouldn't be surprised to expect Mamdani's preliminary budget to come out until late January, early February. But unless they're going to be really efficient and on top of that, so that would be That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm projecting.
And tell my sister.
So I would say probably we should also look at two things. One, the hearing dates. You know, so that way we have a goal date of when to prepare some of this stuff, right? If we're gonna respond and give testimony.
Yes.
But then also begin to solicit now, who will give testimony?
Right.
You know, which chairs will or other members will or won't. You know, I've talked a good game, but I haven't done that for years. I haven't had to testify
Right.
over a decade, right? And yet this is a time when I think the uncertainty with just government, what is going to be.
Yes.
And like I said before, DYCD used to get a 10-year RFP contract. It's 6 years.
That's right.
That means my projection and future planning is far less
Yes.
than what I can plan for. And as in CBO, we need to know what our future's going to be.
Yeah.
And basically what you did is you cut the grants in half. You went from a 10-year grant to a 6-year grant. That's half.
And then
Now you have an administration coming in, as you said.
Yes.
You don't know what their priorities are really going to be.
Yes.
The budget. You know, nobody sees it. Nobody knows what the mess is until you sit in it.
Yes.
What you thought you was going to do is.
Okay. So let's. I don't expect us at our January meeting to have like read the whole preliminary budget, but maybe we can talk about. Hopefully, if it is released by then, just kind of during
We'll
the
just
meeting.
take pieces each, the initial piece.
Yeah. And then in January, we can discuss how to move forward with preparing the statement on the preliminary budget. And I can distribute to you guys what that has looked like in the past. Distributed. Or the response to the preliminary budget.
If it doesn't come out before our January meeting,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Do we have a date scheduled for our meeting? Do we have a date yet scheduled?
I think even if we do a dim.
Because if you're saying it's coming out late, generally it comes out late. We may not really be able to get it till February anyway, right?
No, we would get it as soon as it comes out.
No, what I mean is in committees and everything with people.
Well,
Because the reality is, I'm sending this out to you all prepared to read for the committee meeting. You know how many people have come prepared?
Right. Well, for our rule with the open meetings law, we need to give the public 3 days minimum, right, notice. So you get the preliminary budget, and then you discuss with Angel and them about scheduling the next feasible date for the committee to meet. And you go from there. And
So we may make adjustments in
right.
the calendar.
Right.
Particularly us. No, I mean, if we have a date set for our meeting, right, the 27th, and we don't have it yet.
Well, yeah, you just give proper notice that the meeting be postponed or delayed. You just have to give proper notice and ample time to the public. That's all. At least that's what you should do.
And then we will have a draft preliminary statement in February, a response to it. And then we will have a public hearing on that. I think also in February. I think our response is due in February, right? Okay, and then in March is when we testify at public hearings, and we will have to engage with committees to figure out, like, are committees going to these? Are we going to these? This is different from like the budget consultations. This is like somebody showing up and like reading a statement and a panel. Yeah, in front of the council. Which I think is a cool experience and I think it's important that we participate.
Yeah.
And it could just be fun.
Absolutely. You guys definitely need to get in contact with your council members when they provide their input for, I think, the executive budget. The preliminary and executive, and then adopted, I believe. And they, the council members, of course, they provide their feedback to the mayor. You guys definitely should get in contact with incoming
LC,
and now Yusuf Salam. We limited engagement with Salam's
We
office.
use it.
Their staff lead, chief of staff, she does come to our full board meetings. That is Shani Herrera. She was at the
Yes.
last full board meeting, excuse me. And LC hasn't made solidified staff members yet, but definitely jumping in there and saying, okay, well, what are you looking at for budget requests, and not aligning with them per se, but establishing a collaborative partnership. Because I have not been seeing that, at least in my tenure here recently.
No, yeah. This is right around the corner, and
Right.
and
Yeah. Have not seen Salam yet. He covers 20%
Plus, he was
of
the
this
board
district.
member too, if you don't know.
Yes.
I think she may have also, no, I don't think she chaired this one. But I think she chaired, or vice chaired land use. Yeah, that's her office.
She was like,
Yeah, she's cool. Okay, that's pretty much it for now. Any questions? Comments?
Good luck again on the tour.
Thank you. And I think, so maybe January, the next time we meet, regardless of whether the preliminary budget comes out, we will have a updated version of that. I'll probably have it in the next month, but we won't meet until January to talk about it.
it looks pretty good. Just tweaking a few things, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good draft. Okay, unfinished business, none. New business. Roll call.
You got it.
Sorry about that.
All good.
Jessica Elliott absent. David Giordano.
Present.
Sage Mason.
Present.
Janelle Sativa.
Present.
Great. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned
So,
at what time
How
is
did
it?
you find the election?
Wait. Meeting adjourned at 7:08.
Just out of curiosity, because we.
Wait, David, wait.